So UFC's now released the new rankings after UFC 316, and I went to look at the Bantamweight division, which had two high-profile fights. We had Patchy Mix and Mario Bautista on the main card, and we also had, of course, the main event, Merab Dvalishvili and Sean O'Malley, too. And I was like, I'm excited to see where Sean falls, where Mario moves. You know, where does this, you know, how does this shuffled, right? This is has a lot at stake here for that Bantamweight division. Of course, we know Corey's getting the next title shot. That's no question. So I was expecting him to be at the number 1 spot. But when we take a look here, we have Sean O'Malley still in the 1st spot. And we go back down to Mario Bautista, who was ranked 10th before this fight, is now only moved up 1 spot to 9th. Behind someone I want to touch on, Chito Vera, who's ranked 7th still. Just really interesting movement here, or lack thereof, you could say, in this division. I'm not sure what UFC had in mind. Now, in my previous video, I talked about Mario Bautista, why he's underrated, or at least just how good is Mario Bautista was really the concern there. And Tapology had him ranked as 7th. I think that's pretty accurate. That would be behind Song Yadong and Davison Figueiredo. I think that's realistic. That's different level of talent, top 5, 6 talent. But we have him behind Rob Font and Chito Vera. But I want to take a step back. Let's look at Sean O'Malley first. Let's look at that first. And before we can truly understand why O'Malley being ranked 1st is an issue, we need more context around his career. So let's take a step back for a second, and let's just think about O'Malley's career. Of course, he went to Dana White's Contender Series. He had some fantastic knockouts, not against anybody that you'd write home about here, but still highlight real knockouts. No doubter, top 5 talent on the feet. We know that Sean O'Malley deserves to be in that top 5 talent pool, without a doubt. Now, that said, we got to remember when O'Malley was ranked 11th, he got a chance to fight Petr Yan, who was ranked 3rd at the time. Already controversy at that time. People were like, is this too much of a step up? This is going to be like a true test. It was pretty radical, we could say, for a number 11 to get a number 3. I think the only other time I can think of in recent history or recent matchups that someone that low of ranking got a chance at a high, well-established fighter, high-ranked established fighter, was St. Denis versus Dustin Poirier. And we all know how that went, right? So he's given the Yan fight. We go through with it. People are excited. And if we're being realistic, Sean O'Malley did not win that fight. He won by split decision, but he did not win that fight. It was very, very close. And so I think at the very least, we can say, okay, let's give him that fight. Although I don't think that we should. Let's say we give him that fight. Let's say he won by split decision, because he did. Okay. After he loses to Merab in a dominant 4-1 and arguably a 3-2 first championship fight, we don't give him Petr Yan, who's fought since him and had a great performance. We don't give him that fight, considering it's a split decision and there could be a title eliminator there. No, we give O'Malley another title shot. Okay, so we're going to give him another title shot. And when we do give him a title shot, he gets absolutely dominated again. Even worse this time. Wasn't even close. He landed under 30 strikes in the entire fight. So he gets handed the Yan fight. That fast tracks him to the championship title shot. He fights Aljo, who then he knocks down, lands one solid shot on the ground after he knocks him down. Other ones were glancing off Aljo's arms. They weren't, he was not on top, mounted over Aljo, grounding and pounding. No, very arguably early stoppage against Aljo, someone who's dominated the division, so he should get a title shot, right? He should get a rematch at least, right? No, he doesn't get a rematch, of course. We all know how that went. Aljo tried to, didn't get to, because I guess they didn't make enough money. But of course, Sean O'Malley, after these, potential, arguably loss against Yan, after being fast-tracked to even have that matchup to begin with, and then when he does get the title shot, an arguably early stoppage there, and then he gets a easy matchup against Chito Vera, a can at that point. I mean, Chito Vera didn't throw anything at him. Didn't throw absolutely. Go back and watch that fight. I mean, Chito had one decent round. What, the 4th or 5th round it was? I mean, he got absolutely pieced apart. He didn't throw anything. No threat. Of course O'Malley looked fantastic. I also thought, oh, well, I don't know, man. Merab, he may get knocked out against O'Malley after I watched that Vera fight. I seriously thought there was a chance. But then he fights Merab, gets dominated, and then he does get a rematch with all this context of an early stoppage, of a handed Jan fight, of giving a can before that. And then, he doesn't get the fight. Jan doesn't get a chance to fight O'Malley for the title eliminator. No. He has to fight Marcus McGee, fight down the rankings again. And O'Malley, of course, gets that rematch and gets dominated. So, okay, now with that context, maybe he shouldn't be ranked number 1. Maybe, we should expect him to be what? Maybe 3 after Umar and Corey. Wouldn't that make sense? Maybe a 3 there? Or maybe even after Peter. Maybe you don't want to put Peter there because, Peter lost against O'Malley. Okay, put him at 3. But no, let's leave him at 1. Well, I mean, that makes absolutely no sense to me. It's pretty frustrating that the UFC is still making these, rather blatantly skewed rankings. Why I have no understanding of why O'Malley deserves to be ranked number 1 after his whole career, really. After his first, 3 or 4 fights in the UFC, fighting against other cans. So that's the first complaint I have about the bantamweight rankings. Now, if you've watched my other video, you know that I think Mario Bautista is a serious talent and he's going to be a serious threat in this division. And I've watched him since, if I'm not mistaken, Damon Blackshear, which is 2 years ago. I think he's a very formidable force in the division. I really do. His performance against Patchy Mix, as I said in another video, was only really noticed because of Patchy Mix. People still didn't give the respect of Mario Bautista because of his auto fight. It's all people remember. But the fact that he only moved up 1 ranking after that kind of performance, there was no point in that fight against Patchy Mix that he was under any sort of danger. Actually landed like maybe 2 combinations? Two punch combinations? I mean, seriously, Mario put on a masterclass performance. Had the most significant strikes out of the entire fight card. After everyone was counting him out as an underdog, taking on someone who's making a debut out of a different promotion. Do you think this guy would get rewarded at some level for coming in as an underdog and putting on that type of performance? Doesn't even get a post-fight interview.
Yeah, now that I think of it, I'm just thinking, man, that's kind of like messed up.
I mean, we can keep on going on. I'm not going to go into my last video too much, but why is he still ranked? He's ranked 2 spots below Chito Vera. As I just said earlier, Chito Vera got absolutely pieced up against Sean O'Malley. He looked terrible that fight. But even Chito's career, Chito hasn't won a fight in 2 years. Chito Vera, let me remind you, Chito Vera has not won a fight in 2 years. Who's his last win? Pedro Munoz. That's literally his last win. Pedro's not even ranked anymore. Pedro's not a bad fighter, don't get me wrong. But top 10 talent? No. Maybe at one point he was wavering on that boundary of be number 10, number 11 or 12. But no. Pedro Munoz is nothing to brag about here. What about his Dominic Cruz win when Dominic Cruz was 37? You got to remember, Chito Vera is 30 years old, 31. He's 32 now. He should be in his prime. Chito looks like he's washed up. Chito looks like he's 36 out there fighting. 37. I thought he was like 37 until I checked it. Seriously, he's 30. He beat a 37-year-old Dominic Cruz, a 35-year-old Rob Font. Rob's looked sharp lately. He's ranked 8th, but Rob's not going to be fighting for the title anytime soon, right? We're not bragging about being Rob Font if you're, supposed to be a top 5, 6, 7 ranked talent here. The only thing I remember from his fight against Sean O'Malley was the fact that he had a tough chin. And whenever that's the only thing you remember about somebody, it means you got absolutely pieced up. Because every single time you got hit, you're like, damn, he has a chin on him, right? You're not saying like, oh, look at those combos, he's mixing it up well. Chito didn't throw shit in that whole fight. So, why does Chito deserve to be ranked over somebody who hasn't lost a fight in 4 years, is on a 7-fight win streak, took someone from a different promotion, has beat Ricky Simon, has beat Damon Blackshear, two formidable threats, right? I mean, are we really acting like Mario couldn't beat a Pedro Munoz, a Dominic Cruz, or a Rob Font just like Chito? I mean, keep in mind, his fight, and not trying to do some MMA math here, yeah, he beat Ricky Simon, and that was a close fight, but Ricky was the closest person to beating Merab. He choked out Merab. We know that visual. Merab was saved by the bell. I mean, Ricky's no slouch. Ricky is someone you can actually, throw out there as a solid win. And of course, Patchy Mix is too. But, O'Malley's ranked, first still in the division. Mario moves up one spot after a fantastic performance. I mean, I really don't know what else you can do if you're Mario Bautista. At the very least, put him at 7. I mean, at the very least. So, and O'Malley again, at least put him at 3. Corey's still ranked 4th. We know Corey's getting the next title shot. Why wouldn't he be number 1? I don't know. Umar had his title shot. So interesting decisions by the UFC to say the least. And so that's all I have to say about that bantamweight division rankings. I just wanted to say that and get that out there because it seemed a little odd to me. So I'll see y'all next time.